Ruxick did demonstrate being able to have an incredibly high ceiling. We saw that in his Vitality game in the first stage, I remember. That felt like a shock result when everybody saw it, but it did just prove his capabilities to really be there, right? And as we know, Vitality did then drop off as the year progressed onwards. We do go straight through Agent Select in just a matter of moments. Both of these teams actually opting for the same composition of agents, the Omen Viper, with well, actually, no, there is a deviation, sorry.
Yeah.
Instead of double duelist on Gentlemates, I believe it is, sorry, Na'Vi have picked this chamber again.
Yeah, they seem to really like it, and it seems as if Na'Vi have once again shown the priority that this is the composition they want to go for. Maybe forcing Ruxick into more of a aggressive role in the way that he wants to fight. And this is the point that I was going to make, was that I feel as if Ruxick was more of like a sentinel in the way that he played his Viper last year, you know, like always lurking, always finding his timings. But we can really explore that later on. First VCT versus VCT matchup in Blender. It is Gentlemates Rebuild versus Navi's modifications. Who will come out on top on split? That's what we're here to find out.
Na'Vi beginning on the attack, of course, the same side they started on in the game against Joblife. That one seemed to get out of hand fairly quickly, so they'll be hoping for some early results here. Played through off of Sociable's dog, an area which they struggled to contain at times, but you can see Shao teeing up a potential paranoia, just looking for that dive onto Mail.
I don't know if Glyph just seen the luck coming through from Ruxick, but players starting to aggress now up of mid, and it's all on the players and Mail, but Mini holding on, still within the corner, able to get the first pick and control of Spike.
A little bit of more time on the Toxin as well, now a double up from Mail.
Lovely flash out, the players coming alive in the server, but it's mostly on Gentlemate's side. Ruxick knows that the game is up and has to pick up an ultimate orb, a concession, and perhaps another ultimate orb coming his way. That's whether he can get a kill or whether he's going to be taken out.
Head on the shoulders of Martin, but Ruxick won through the body. 4 Headhunter bullets left, 3 more targets for him to find. But Bippo will wipe the slate clean, so Gentlemates get the pistol. And Cairo, it's stuff that we highlighted in the previous match, that inability to really take agency, take control, and set up these fights from Shao that's been a little bit concerning for Na'Vi.
Yeah, and I guess, like, I don't want to be too harsh. We've had this conversation a lot about how much we can really start to criticise the teams because we don't know what stage of the development these rosters are actually in. But for Na'Vi, yeah, I would say that they're like a few steps off the pace, whereas Gentlemates feel as if they're starting to, I'm not saying they're in full form, but they'll definitely feel as if they're close to it, right, with the way that they're very decisive in what they want to do. Very nice shots from Martin.
Great way to get this anti-eco up and rolling. Still not cleared, and he won't be. Martin ending the round with 3, a flawless conclusion for Gentlemates. Adding on to what you were saying there, Cairo, yeah, I think Na'Vi definitely have the ability to really turn it up a gear, and that's what we're hoping for here more than anything else. The reason why I mentioned Shao is his paranoia usage was excellent, the new in-game leader for this Na'Vi team, and if he can find ways to set up Filu satcheling in, that's really when Na'Vi are going to look at their best.
Yeah. The Na'Vi, I guess, the Na'Vi team that was picked up initially, the Masters winners. It's been a long time since then. Shell, the only one really remaining, as Angel is taking up the coach role for Na'Vi, and Martin now having to really hold on to this site all alone. Nobody able to try and support the Outlaw. Not going to really work out, but Mini elsewhere towards ramp gets a pick of his own, so numbers still even here.
Yeah, much better pace change from Na'Vi. Great use of the dog and the Omen blind. Problem is, Spike hasn't crossed the site just yet. And
that's a huge problem because the smoke has dissipated and Mini's come straight out, denying that Spike in no man's land. Ruxick, a huge component, as he tries to walk up through CT, does catch Bippo, but the trade's good. Mates doing well to keep control of this round or stay in it.
Ruxick creating a distraction so the spike plant can come through. Gentlemate's looking to retake some of this space through ramp, and you have to still be looking at the Omen blind available here.
Navi worried about the elbow position. Hero taking stand there. He's had a clutch from there before. We've seen it highlighted. It always seems like his map, but with Philo to support, this should be easy enough. Navi have just seen the two players trying to come through. And well, it will end up being easy in the end. Navi finally on the board.
Much better from Navi in the first rifle round that the Ukrainian organization will get. Unlucky from Martin not to land the shot there, but the combination of util much better in setting up Filu. Just taking their timings, and this the biggest 1v1 that Ruxic is able to pick up, giving breathing room back to the team. And that's what the Chamber has to be able to do so consistently. Controller of the Year or not, this agent has suited his skill set very well.
Seems as if Navi have found a weakness that they want to try and exploit towards A's. It's now towards Heaven that they're really pushing. That's where Gentlemates made their stand and the retake. But it's towards site we look at. Four bodies strong now are the defence. A nice combination through Molly and Nade. And Filo's entry looking good as well. A player who we highlighted as perhaps someone that needs to pick up the performances. It seems as if he has been. Spike goes down. The players of Navi have everything under control as they keep themselves ahead in the player count, but they need to get this round done and over with. Seems as if they've got the capability to do that. It's just Martin on his outlaw. A player who can show what he's got, given the opportunity. Well, there's the first. Needs to consider the player above him. His sociable does sociable. I was going to say Ruxic misses his shot. Martin making a good attempt at it, but it does end up all even.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one for Martin. Equally so Ruxic, who missed his first two outlaw bullets, conceding the position. I think the bigger mistake probably is for Gentlemates trying to rush this retake attempt. Starso flooding into elbow and losing his life as the Sky player, a key component of making that happen. That has to be the adaptation here for the defense. As soon as you see that Na'Vi are committing loads of utility to take minimal gains in terms of space, you got to hold on to your own and be ready to re-challenge it.
This time, Gentlemates, they want to challenge A main, but it's just a quick TP out. Ruxic's already got what he came for. Spike not committed anywhere, but you know Na'Vi want to actually entice this fight. They want to entertain it. But they're not getting what they came for. So, with that being said, they're happy with the one pick, and they'll drop off elsewhere in the map.
Yeah, it gets to a point now where Starso's thinking about the timing on his utility. Looked like he had the dog there as he just flashed through the POV. And getting that info on the extremity is going to be super important. You can already see him queued up to the corner. It was just a pop flash behind the toxic screen instead. Na'Vi making moves in the meantime. Ruxic, the solo mid player, has a bit more freedom with his TP here to try and cut off rotations. Well, the rest of the team have bagged a 4 versus 2 on the B site. Notoriously difficult and close to clear at times. We'll see how much Glyph can do.
The timing just off, but Glyph now at the back of sight as we see Navi frisk it successfully. Mini Sheriff can't quite connect, and sociable, lovely entries from him. Spike now can be identified and put onto the player that needs the orb the most, who's closest, and Starzo, now known about on the flank, does not give him a lot of time to work with.
Sky is a vintage pick for Starso. A crucial part of that Ascend run. He is also another player with an international trophy alongside Xiao in the server right now. He's going to find Hero at the very least, but you're not expecting him to get all too much more here, Cairo. I think the mid-rounding for Gentlemates has to be such an important factor. We know Starso as well as a co-caller, in-game leader, de facto for the last 2 years, has that ability to be super vocal. And on the eco, maybe sometimes you do want to see an over-rotation, but Na'Vi reclaiming the lead now. It's a pretty positive start for them after the first couple.
Yeah, I think they've learned the lessons from the initial time that we saw them play Split. For me, has it? Just because on the fact that we saw that slow pistol round, and since then they've they know what they needed to do, right? They made sure that the A site was theirs, and Angel as well. We've spoke about it before in previous casts, that this is a map that he knew how to call. So if Navi were poor on Split, I would be really worried, because this always felt like a map that was theirs.
Yeah, Angel always an in-game leader, I think, as well, that was exceptionally good at preparing specifically for different opponents, and Navi themselves always very difficult to be ready for, I suppose, and that's the challenge that Paco is presented with here. His first match against VCT opposition after being the coach at Diamant we spoke so heavily about, Carmine Corps' own academy project, and now on another French roster, as they always love to shuffle players amongst one another. Martin will know the same feeling.
Yeah.
And the question is, what's the adaptation here?
Yeah, I think that's the big question, because last time me and you spoke about Paco and his ability to develop his players, and whether he is an academy coach or whether he can be the VCT player, or the VCT coach that we expect him to be. And this is the first real test of it, right? The adaptations, what can he do to make his team come back into this one? As he does have the tools available to him, it seems as if they want to try and challenge this B main spot.
Let's play.
Yeah, the major asset is the operator in the hands of Martin. First line of contact, Ruxic walks in, shot through the wall does damage, but Ruxic finds the opening pick.
I mean, Gentlemates have control of the mid portion of the map, but Navi want nothing to do with it. Priority, let's hit back on towards A, where loads of success has been had, so we look at Glyph. Smoke's going out, the showstopper should be easy to clear him, but it does not hit. And now the players trying to force back out, a very quick take, but one which Navi are prepared for, and that spike should be able to go down.
Yeah, now holding in a 5 versus 2 with the op trying to retake in. Mates, it's in their best interests to be saving this. Ruxic with a key opening pick, and then Navi just ready for the reflood. Felt like Gentlemate's game plan there was to fight ahead of the curve. They didn't want to wait for a post-plant situation, especially at a numbers disadvantage, and you can understand the reasons for it, but it's a similar conclusion, so Navi will be extending their lead.
Unfortunately for Gentlemates, the adaptation's not good enough, and it seems really that Navi have fixed the cracks at the moment, putting cement rather than paper. And with that, the spike explosion, Navi up to 4. Split always a weird map, I find, Hazza, because it's not necessarily as defender-sided as what we once knew.
That is true. However, I think it is also important to reference Navi's success from the defenders' side. We were talking the other day about the flawless half they had against the old version of GX when they played this in the group stages of Stage 2. And yeah, I have to, or Stage 1, sorry. And that is where I think you're also going to see Ruxic be able to completely take over the game if left unchecked. Mates also with a double duelist, so they'll be thinking about the second half just as much. Any early rounds here, though, are a real positive for both teams.
5 players outside the B, Navi, brute force, and one which has consistently worked, but this time Martin is going to be able to stop Navi and the supporting cast getting into sight, and they're happy now, Navi, that they can't try and break the fold. So we're going to try and go elsewhere.
Starso had just committed the Skydog down middle as well, so he did know for a moment that the space was clear, but in hearing his opposite number start to get active and Vents conceded, the call is made by Gentlemates to start rotating players over. They've still got Martin watching Garage. That's where Shower's currently lurking.
Oh. I thought for a minute there with the wall and the timing, Starzo maybe been looking away at the wrong time. Yeah, he's going to try and bring Glyph back up, but needs to be careful now because Navi are behind enemy lines.
Yeah, it does feel like Navi are here just to take the heaven space and head back towards B through middle, perhaps. Question is, can they find a pick? It's this detachment of Shower right now, this insert, which just leads you to believe that A isn't the final destination. But as he's called back through market, their sights are set on this side of the map.
Yeah, there will be a little bit of delay in the smokes getting here though, so that's what's stopping Navi really executing. And Glyph is in position with the paranoia and it's been used, but it's Hero out of main that's most important. Is once again Navi's attack looks good, but the spike up in him is a problem, and they need to try and get through Glyph. I think that's it. A complete blunder from the attack, and Gentlemates are back within one.
Yeah, Gentlemates do pick up the round. Only Martin left to tell the tale. The operator has been saved for a second successive round, so that's another positive. But you were kind of wondering what the plan from NAVI was there. Looked like a little bit of hesitation from Sociable in Heaven as well as to what the call was. Shao had a really nice position late to come through main and sweep things up if they did want to go back to B, but yeah, there just wasn't enough time, and with the spike left on the ledge, it's a frustrating way to concede a round and bring mates back into the game.
But is this going to strike more success for the defence? That's the question, and the one that we do need the answer to. Martin being proactive as ever, one which Navi struggle to deal with, but with a crossfire established this time, should be easy to try and break. It seems if Gentlemates need to be careful though, because Bippo is really detached from the support of Viper player in the corner. Oh, the dog broken. He's got an opportunity now. Martin hitting his shot on the operator. We roll it back towards mid where Bippo gets one of his own. But Shao's double up might have just saved Navi.
Yeah, Navi been much better at reclaiming mid-late round rather than immediately challenging it. And you're seeing that again here. Shao with a double. Now looking to constrict A. Hero finds Sasso in the corner. It might be done. Oh! Misses the shot.
That's really unfortunate because now Starzo has been able to buy all of that A space. Is now Navi move towards B.
30 seconds
it's just
left.
Glyph holding on. The yeoman, the hopes and dreams of this round put on the IGL, the captain for Gentlemates, and as they peek out, the shot's not necessarily hitting, and Glyph trying to escape and can't do so. So that spike will go down, and we're into a 2v2.
Yeah, Gentlemates didn't rotate even though they had the information. Martin retaking with the Yoru ult.
Last player standing.
And Starzo not considering the
way.
Sociable not considering the recommit. Shao has went elsewhere, and yeah, it's just going to be an easy defuse. Gentlemates are back all even.
That's ridiculous. Martin just threads his way through the whole site with the Yoru ult. Because Shao's put the smoke down, he can just full stick it anyway. And then the ultimate for the late flank in mid, just thinking that a little bit more time would have been bought there. Angel's not happy with what he's seen as mates find their equalizer. So a second time out of this first half, and this time it's Navi.
Yeah, I think for me, it felt as if that was 2 rounds in a row now, which Navi have cost themselves. That spike trying to get on towards the A site in the third round that MA were able to get. And now this fourth one where Shao's TP'd back towards mid. And I mean, trying to commit that spike, I don't know what was going on there, but it felt to me that the plan creation has it just a little bit off.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's in the mid-round there where Shao has to really create the set idea as to what the call is, and now we don't know all too much about what the structure looks like on Navi at the moment, if there are other prominent voices that are leading those discussions and creating those plans. But with him being the lurk in that situation, you're kind of also assuming that he's the one that's going to be the focal point of the round and that they're then playing back into his domain. We've seen this pace change from Navi a couple of times now. They've gone fast, they've played these slower defaults. But you can't just keep fast hitting on split, otherwise you're going to get red very quickly. And especially with the showstopper now available for Bippo, it's a hard counter to those tight choke points.
I could easily get a couple of kills. The operator trying to be set up, but it's dependent on the toxins going away, which it has. So the sky still kept hidden, and the clearance used through the boom pot. So Navi now look towards mid.
Yeah, and here Mini has to tread on thin ice, draw a line in the sand and make sure that he doesn't get beaten past. You can see that priority just to give up middle and play towards the sites themselves. Starso arriving the B defense, but here is the showstopper from Bippo, chasing down Na'Vi and not finding the kill. How is Shao still alive?
No clue, and he's been able to keep a whole lot of his health. Na'Vi now look towards B.
Starting to flood into the tower now. A smoke is dropped and Starso trying to play behind it, but he's caught first and Hero onto another. Glyph exposed on the railing, and with that, Na'Vi do respond. A catered attempt through mid, and mates just crumble this time.
Yeah, absolutely. They have
30 seconds left.
I feel as if, like, for the most part, they're having really big problems with delaying and stopping the push when it begins its onslaught. And you would think that that would kind of be made easier through having Martins up and available to try and garner that information on the extremities, but it feels as if Ruxic is the real hindrance to that. It's now all the remaining players of NAVI want to try and get rid of this operator.
Try as they might. Martin is knocking them down. One bullet left in the gun and he's got 4. The round is lost regardless, but Martin might walk away with a highlight package. He's managed to TP away from Shao and has to put more bullets back in the gun before he gets a chance here.
I mean, one
feels
more
like
kill.
This is a wager for a 1v1 or something. Yeah. This is completely disconnected from the round at this point.
Yeah. And if Martin does get this kill, it will bring him 2 away from the dimensional drift. Unfortunately for him, not able to, but does keep the operator, which is most important. So a lot of ultimate orbs donated to Martin there, which could be a game changer in future rounds.
It also shows you how good Martin is of a player, especially with that operator though. And that's where the game plan maybe is a little bit out of place for Gentlemates. You were talking about him taking extremity control, but we've not really seen him push up in either, you know, B main garage or A lobby yet either, and take an aggressive line. Gentlemates have been pretty slow in their rotation, and we'll hear he's fighting mid again.
Martin, dynamic as ever. The flash not good, but able to escape at least a trade out through, or a pick through Bipple's Sheriff. That's going to be a problem because Navi have now lost their gap close. That's the raise off the board, and I mean, for the most part, Philo has been pretty good with his entries to site.
Yeah, 4v4, and you can see Gentlemates trying to show a little bit of proactivity here. But Na'Vi are grouped up and ready for this B hit again. It's served them well so far, and the defense still spread thin.
Nice pop flash. Yeah, easy to clear out many. Glyph's Sheriff not that great either. Needs to be some sharp shooting, which unfortunately for them has it. There's not a whole lot of it. So you look at Starzo's Stinger, and Martin probably looking to save that operator once again. Navi will find 6 with next to no problem.
Yeah, it feels like the rounds have really been few and far between for Gentlemates at this point. In the opening 12 now, Cairo, I mean, we had one from a slight blunder from Na'Vi on their A execute, leaving the spike behind, or dying with the spike. But then, what, pistol anti-eco? It's in the rifles where they've really shone so far. This time Martin is stationed mid with the op to try and bring the whole picture together, and he had a TP ready for A from screens so he could take that long line if he needed. But we're not seeing any big gambles, any calls really being made by Gentlemates to actually overwhelm Na'Vi in any sense. It doesn't feel like there are any tangible win conditions for them on these ecos at the moment.
Yeah, I think the Gentlemates, I don't know, right? Like for a couple of these rounds, I'm like, yeah, like they look great. It feels as if that's what's happening, but sometimes it feels as if they're just not in the round at all. Like as you said, like tangible win conditions that we need to see from either team, right? And overall, like Navi are just kind of starting to run all over them in some of these gunfights.
It feels like they want to do the right things, but maybe they're a couple of steps behind. Like, I've seen Starso dog all the way through sewers and flash deep A spawn, and then no one's rotating off A. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Gentlemates are collecting the information, but perhaps not processing it in the same way right now, and I think that's the slight problem that we're seeing. Perhaps having a little bit longer to prepare for these, but here we go. The dog does spot Hero in A, and that's where Martin's now starting to play behind it.
So there's the information. Starzo rotating off the back of it even though he has found information. Maybe thinking that it's the chamber, or maybe actually worried about the players moving through mid.
Yeah, I like this reposition from Starzo. This is good. Martin a little more aggressive, and now Gentlemates looking like maybe they want to take Garage. By that point, you have two really strong foundations to fight either site. It will be B, and that's where now this main control for Bippo is looking really nice with Glyph inserted.
But Glyph has been left all alone. He's called for the players to start to rotate elsewhere, but does get the first. TP looks good. Can't quite make the most of it though, and that allows Navi back in. Showstopper doesn't connect, but it does clear the site, and that's the most important for Navi to get that pit down and the spike.
Really difficult to clear now. Sociable's got to be careful he doesn't get found, and won't. So it goes 4-on-4, Navi with an advantage here in post.
Yeah, and that's just not, and that's not numbers-wise, that's because they have the pit. And the fact that Martin has to try and re-clear with an operator, we know he's quick, but how quick can you really be when you're pushed to the closest of margins, closest of quarters? Nice pop flash out, Sociable comes through, but Mini wins out and Martin shorty. Okay, Navi, let's see how you defend the pit. The players now start to move on towards the spike, but Hero and Shao begin to make it work, begin to make it doable. Hero's clutch comes through and gives Navi the advantage.
In the half.
That's exactly what Navi needed. And while Gentlemates were so close to snatching around through their own hard-fought adaptation of strategy, far more aggressive on the map's limits, it's just another round-winning hero moment. The reason why they put so much focus on keeping him in this team. Nice flash from Sociable, maybe lack of coordination there for Navi. Here's the A hit to win them the half.
Oh, that's a good flash, but it actually stopped the remaining players coming out. Martin, I mean, now they start to re-engage. Glyph starting to help out. What has happened to mate? It feels as if they've had enough with the upsets, enough of the mistakes, and they put themselves two in front.
Seeker's just confirming what we already know to be true. But Starso gets caught as the wall drops. I can't quite remember which one it was, but mates are grouped up here. Rooksik only able to find one.
Toxins going up.
So it's a hero again, but this is a 1 versus 3, which he can't muster up. So it will end 7-5.
Switching sides.
Decent half, one complimentary to both sides. We've seen mistakes in rounds that both teams should have won and lost, and haven't. So they'll take that, right, as we move on to the next half. The question really being is, does Navi have what it takes to really make the defensive half work for them like they did last time? And can Gentlemate show us this double duelist working on the attack?
It was actually just Hero dropping his own wall to take the duel. He's won the majority of the fights in the last couple of rounds, and that's the reason why Navi have a 2-round cushion. They lost the opening pistol, but it's 7 from 10 in the rifle rounds, which put them in this position. Gentlemates starting their attack with a little bit of a B main brawl. Shao respecting it, dropping back to a deeper line of cover.
Yeah, I think he's seen something from that, right? The both smokes already used, trying to create and mark the space in the side that he wants to defend, and is successful in doing so. And keeps Navi pretty far in front now as they start to sprint ahead. In the pistol round, Bippo, I mean, with 26 points of health, you know the writing is on the wall, and it is. Navi up to 8 on their own map pick.
Early obituary for Gentlemates, with almost half of their rounds coming through, winning the pistol and its follow-up conversion in the first half. Navi taking this on the defense, and cutting off life support for the attack is such a big issue. Shao does excellently well to get his couple. And so here we go. No force from the attack either, no plant, so no way that they can elect to do it. You're looking at Rooksik on a Marshall here with a target-rich environment in front of him.
And he's a player who, as we all know, can hit the shots when needed to. There's a reason why he got named Controller Player of the Year, and it's because of his mechanical ability. But unfortunately, NAVI have actually hemorrhaged a couple of players here, allowing M8 to get an advantage. They're continuing on, looking to charge and catch players off guard, which they're successful in doing so. NAVI maybe a little bit too overconfident.
3v2 and plenty of damage on those players. Bippo can cut right through them.
Yeah, that Marshall is going to be so important. The barrel scene, they know the players are on site. The reposition looks good, and the players' heads being collected left, right, and centre. A sheriff shot would be enough to take out Shao, but instead it's Martin's classic. Well played by Gentlemates to come straight back in.
Controller player of the year or not, he's on Chamber right now, and while you can't exactly knock the opening duel, just gets overwhelmed, glyphs up in the smoke, and he's the one leading this offense. Na'Vi not maybe showing the amount of diligence that they need to here, I suppose. But it's these kinds of upsets that get you back into the game, back to 2 rounds, and it's feeling a little harsher this time now on Na'Vi.
Couple of rogue buys in this for the defence. There's a Bulldog in the mix, so yeah, there it is. Hero and Sociable, the 2 players with the 2 buys. So Gentlemates still need to be careful of what they have, and they can hear those shots being fired off, so now know the challenge in front of them.
Still a mixed investment by all intents and purposes for Na'Vi. Shao is the one most estranged from the rest of his team, just trying to dictate the pace of play in Garage, as Gentlemates are queuing up for an A piece. It's Ruxic try and stop them again, this time only with the Headhunter, and is forced to evacuate from the play early.
Oh, there's a lot of bodies being moved over though, which gives Gentlemates a little gap in time to really hit this B site where Shao holds on all by himself.
And because this is such a passive perimeter from Na'Vi, they didn't really have any information. They're just gambling, just rotating. It might have been the correct call for them after all. We didn't see mates do this once, but could it pay off for Na'Vi on their eco? Shao's going to fall first. There is follow-up here from the rest of the Na'Vi members. With 20 seconds or so left, the spike is stuck up in the rafters.
At least we're seeing Glyph with the TP, but he can't escape, and Ruxic being able to thread the needle. Gentlemates forced back onto the site and planting safe. It's up to Martin to hold Overwatch.
Spike planted.
Focusing his crosshair towards the tower block. Ruxic there and posted the eviction notice. Clean first shot from Martin, and that brings Mini into play to support. Filu's not going to clear it, and so Mini gets his double. Mates back within 1, despite Na'Vi's best efforts.
Unbelievable from Gentlemates to fight back in, but also great calling from Na'Vi. And I mean, if Gentlemates a little bit quicker, I feel as if this round could have been a little bit more dominant by Gentlemates, but the shots from both teams looking good.
It's a nice mid-round from Gentlemates, but I have to say the credit for the calling there does go to Na'Vi. How many times did we see the mates do that on their defense, right? They were always just playing in pairs of 2, whereas Na'Vi trying their best to overwhelm. It's going to be a little bit more of the same here, but Shao not blinded, sets up Filu. This potent pair continuing to inflict further damage. Na'Vi with an early man advantage.
Seems as Gentlemates still want to continue on, but there's steps and audibles being given away as they start to move towards heaven.
Yeah, and look at Ruxic's position. So deep towards spawn now, Na'Vi can just sit on this 3-player stack on the A site. Hero's got to be careful he doesn't overexpose himself, and with back turned, still he will survive. A graze across the cheek for now, as mates haven't been able to fully punish this Na'Vi defensive line.
Oh, but yeah, but there's a space, there's a gap, as if they start to walk towards CT. This could be the winning condition, the winning chance for Gentlemates to get that spike down.
Really depends what the pathing looks like though, because there is a trademark up in B Heaven. Shouldn't be clearing anyone here. Ruxic's tying things down by making sure no players crossing from vent, and the rest of Na'Vi playing from sight because they know that that's how they win the round should things head in that direction. Mates do have the gap though.
Yeah, and they've taken it well. The thing is Navi is starting to get a bit of an idea about how this round is going to be set up. That spike planted towards CT, but Gentlemate's not really taking up the opportunity to have that space. Two players committed towards the site. Stars are the only one holding on to the CT portion. Navi approaching from so many different lanes.
It's been all so quiet, and that's where trepidation starts to set in for Gentlemates on this comeback in the second half. Martin dictating the pace of the smoke, but Ruxic now sighted for the first time in the round. Op in hand. That cannon creeping closer as Shao's managed to find one up in the heaven, making it a double. 3 for him on the round, and 3 targets for Glyph to find. He's good for the first, but nothing more. So NAVI continue to make steps forward.
Yeah, the effect on I keep going to call Ruxic sociable. The effect on Ruxic just gives away his position in main. Glyph, I mean, if he could have peeked out a little bit stronger, right, a little bit wider, both players low, that Phantom would have been able to spray them down, but I mean, I like the calling from Gentlemates. You can see the ideas starting to tick away. It's just those gunfights are most important, and don't go the way of the French. So with that being said, the Ukrainian organisation find themselves another round. An important one, but you can start to see there's some effect being taken on both teams' economies at the minute, as there's a judge being picked up on the defence, and a couple of pistols in the mix for the attack.
We know that just a couple of Vandals in the right hands can completely flip the script though. Vinny and Martin, the stars of this roster, I think it's fair to say, the imported IGL, and the young star of a French opponent. Here is Hero though, and trying to make his move. It's Filou supported instead. Showstopper active, fake out, trying to bait something, but Martin gets none of it at all. Filou finds his target, and Gentlemate's mixed investment doesn't look to come up to much here.
Yeah, where's Glyph off to?
He's managed to get out on B, at the very least, and past the sightline of Ruxic for now.
Oh.
Traded information, and that's where Ruxic will find Glyph in the end. Navi looking set for double digits at this point, Cairo.
Yeah, Gentlemates really, that 1 versus 1 was really important because they've lost all space now, and Starzo walks straight into the operator. Double digits found for Navi. Ruxic giving a couple of love taps to Starzo. And double digits is going to be really important because we're starting to see already the attack not getting spikes down, not getting the economy well looked after. And I think Navi could be on the home straight.
Could, and that's the operative word in the sentence, because we will be treated to another Paco timeout. Looking at the first, and in terms of the impact that it had, Gentlemates were able to find a round here and there, but didn't feel like there were any drastic overhauls to how they wanted to try and play things.
Yeah, I mean, so far, for me, with Gentlemates, I think they really need to start be winning these main fights. I feel as if this is where we're seeing them like fail before they even get really into the round. At a disadvantage, the entries look great for Navi. I mean, you have that, right? When you have someone like Ruxic who's able to get on the lines early, like Hero, the sociable being able to support and frag. Overall, like Navi, for me, are well set up for this defence. We need to see Gentlemates maybe come up with a better plans. With double duelists, they should be able to be so quick in how they pop, but I'm not really seeing that pacing from the attack.
That's the thing too, when you have such a proficient op player like Ruxic, he's going to gel incredibly well into how the metagame currently looks. Sky isn't a premium tool to be dealing with someone like him, and here is that change of pace, a much more offensive look from Gentlemates as they bustle their way into the apartment block. Shao forced to drop out and give respect to this B execution. Plenty of util thrown at it. How much is going to be left for this post plant?
Well, I mean, it seems as if there's going to be a Viper's Pit put online for Mini. We saw Navi able to clutch up from this position. The timing good. Shao taking it, but at least there's a trade. Viper's Pit down 3-on-3.
Very early use of the Seekers coming out here as well on the Navi side from Sociable. trying to cut its way through the pit and cause a problem. Bippo has the ult, but Hero is spraying all the targets, all but the Viper. Mini's still alive here with this pit, and we know that he can pull it off, but dropped down to 11 already. Na'Vi don't even want to take these fights, don't want to give him half a chance. Hero again, the Prince of Poison, he just doesn't let anyone fight in the pit except himself.
Hazza, check that man's PC right now. I'm not joking. I'm calling the admins right now. That's ridiculous. Just spamming common spots and Gentlemates, unfortunately, sitting in positions that they shouldn't have been. I mean, that Viper's pit went all the way towards CT. Why was no one taking control of that portion, right? I mean, it's so simple for Hero in the end. And yeah, I mean, in the end, like 3 players coming down on 1 player, not much left that can be said. So post-plant, now looking suspect, even though there was a good start from Gentlemates, and it seems like they're going to try and do the same thing again.
Instant use of the Yoru ult to try and clear out the Viper, but instead, Martin taking the fastest possible route to gain access to B. Filu finding a kill on the opposite extremity. Shao dropping in the midst of the fumes, but Hero is still alive. That was a problem until Bippo introduced himself. Now Gentlemates have all of the control and the B site at their disposition.
Oh, Bippo can't quite catch the last 2 remaining players off. At least Starzo is. So in a 3 versus 2, advantage still kept for the attack. And planting open, maybe not to be advised considering how close Navi are.
Oh, timing on Filu. Just looked away from Glyph, but now they know of each other's presence. It's Glyph that goes out to win the duel. And with it, maybe the chances of Navi's round are just slipping away. It's Sociable that drops last. Keeping this within 3. Gentlemate's not out of things just yet, and some of the quicker looks they've shown have proved to be successful.
I would have loved to have seen Navi take a little gamble on walking out there and just seeing if they can break or stop the plant going down. It would have looked good. And yeah, big punishment by Gentlemates to come straight back in and keep 3 alive, most importantly. So they're back within 3.
Shadows traveling.
You can see, even with all of the damage to the economy, Ruxic has his ult, and Shao's just getting a double every single time. A vintage name, an anchor in the region, but Gentlemates hamstrung immediately, and where do you go from here?
1 enemy
5 versus 3 situation made a 5v1, and it's looking like that's all she wrote already. Glyph has nowhere to go, fakes the TP, and it ends flawlessly. Map point Na'Vi.
I've only seen Navi on Split, but so far they've shown me improvement from the first time I've seen them to the second, and I'm fairly convinced that they have quality. I mean, I knew they had quality in the server, but you know what I mean, Hazza? They're showing the qualities that I expect of a VCT team.
Yeah.
Maybe all doubts that I had coming into this one have been sorted out here. I think that this is exactly what you expect. Flawless to get towards map point. And Gentlemates, 5 players outside of A, but they are assaulting into a stack.
And Ruxic's Outlaw as well. 2 bullets loaded up and ready to end the map here and now. His position is going to get assaulted towards, leaves the range of his TP, and with that all safety lost, you can see that NAVI are partnering up here. It's Shao again through elbow. Glyph trying to trade, but at the end of the day, it's Hero to close. 13 rounds to 8, and NAVI will take their selection of Split.
Yeah, I think like we've just seen exactly what Navi can do on Split. A well-called team by Shao, and well-coached as well. I really like the ideas, the proactivity. Ruxic feels like he's the win condition, I will say. So if a team can maybe prepare for that in a normal VCT week, competition week, then maybe that might be a problem for them. But already the early ideas look very good, the individuals look strong, and they want to charge on towards that kind of competitive weekend, that title weekend we've got coming up.
Yeah, 1 map closer to a quarterfinals appearance in our first best of 3 of today. have to say, impressed with Shao on the whole. I think we still need to get a better understanding of, what does the structure look like? How is the calling? And get more regular tests against VCT opposition. But something that Angel was saying when NAVI made their kind of like half rebuild last year with changing a couple of the players at least was that Shao is one of the most consistent players that you get at this level, and that's the exact reason why they kept him not just for 2025, but into 2026 here as well, and as the leader of this, because it's just little moments like this where he's going to buy you those 2 kills, the time and the space, and I think that was a real difference for them here, whereas on the Gentlemates, I'm interested to see what it is that they really want to go for here.
Yeah, I'm interested as well, and it seems as if we are going to get a Mosquito comp from NAVI. It's not, they have been known for innovating in years previous, right, trying to do that, but is Ruxic just playing with it? Yeah, he's just playing with us. We are going to get what we expected. Interestingly enough, though, rather than going for something that we typically kind of like an info agent that we would say we'd think on the initiator role, Sociable has went for Tejo, a role which he is well capable of and well known for playing when he played on BBL last year.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? That you kind of have the option of playing either the Fade or the Tejo here. Fade, the strongest initiator in that bracket at the moment, but I think Tejo's just a little bit, it's kind of flexible to play solo initiator, right? Pairs really well with the Astra, the Salvos, and the Gravwell, so I think it's going to look nice. Also, pairs really well with the Yoru and this Waylay. If they want to go really fast, you just place the salvos in an area. You can have crazy attack speed, and that's probably what they're going to be looking for right off the rip.
Seems as if as we get in towards the map, we are going to have a quick tech hazard. So a couple of players maybe having some issues, but we are still under the sea at least, and we get to see exactly what both teams' ideas are. How do you feel about this, the double duelist versus double duelist? It feels as if Gentlemates have big ideas on playing double duelist with Bippo and Martin. And for me, like, I prefer obviously the Mosquito comp, but Bippo and Martin playing Neon and Phoenix, I wonder how that works together.
Yeah, it can work, I suppose, right? Martin's going to be flashing around the corners, Bippo sliding in. That's essentially how it's going to look most of the time. It's sort of difficult because Martin doesn't have gap close, obviously. So we'll have to see what it is they want to do with this one, as it's an A main duel, which we're going to get to kick things off here. You can already see Sociable getting ready to set up those early salvos to deny this space from Gentlemates as the barriers do drop. And it looks like, at the very least, NAVI get up to that first set of boxes. Filu is going to be buried behind them, though. Martin is ready to flash onto that next line. The Horn thrown in as well, just to support, and Gentlemates with the early advantage.
Yes, the progression from the other lane, though, we're seeing from NAVI, which actually works against him. Martin with a shot, even though he's completely hindered. And this pistol round looks like a great start for Gentlemates. This is how they started out split as well, it has to be remembered. So now we look at Shao to clutch up, and so far, his individual performance has been pretty good.
Yeah, has it been 1v5 good though, Cairo? That's the question. Mini still has this trap up, so they know about him early.
I do. First, oh! You saw the crosshair on the head of Mini. The shot's not connecting though. A little bit of a movement error. That could have went wrong. Gentlemates do get the pistol, and that's the most important part.
Yeah, it absolutely is. This was nice from Starso, holding his own in this situation. As NAVI a little slower to get their players into art there, perhaps. And it has to be something that we're talking about as well, the difference in Sentinel between the two. It's going to look really nice for Gentlemates, at least to kick things off on this defense. They can place that trap wire towards B long and fully rotate without fear of having conceded any space.
very quick. Oh, nice shots, Martin once again. Scoped weaponry seems to be his specialty as he continues on. The flashes maybe not his specialty this time round. Maybe used to bouncing a blind side off here and there. Slowly approaches, jiggling his way through. No way!
Missed with again. Oh wait, you can't. Flash.
Lovely work from Martin. Gonna get the ult up inside 2 rounds. That's the strength of the Phoenix, of course. Lowest cost of an ultimate in the game. Wondering how many more he would find here, but does end up taking all of them in the end. Now, that is something else to mention about the Cypher as well very quickly, is that it's probably going to be a pretty good counter to the Waylay Yoru trying to dive in immediately. The traps do take a little bit longer to wind up, but he has moved onto the A site, as you can see. This is where Navi want to go.
I mean, this forebody's strong for Gentlemates. I mean, playing in front of the trap, sure, but surely you would want your Sentinel on the weak side. Doesn't seem to be the case here for the game plan of the French org.
Yeah, they're going to be playing for a full B retake with this Phoenix ult, so Martin has to be careful in this mid-duel. There's nobody there to greet him, but Navi will have the information in tow.
Well, they will. It seems as if we are going to see Hero deposited for that late luck, as Gentlemates kind of default back into a shape that's more common on Peril, and Navi try to make their inroads towards the B site.
This is space which Glyph will be happy to concede, maybe looking for a one and done. Gentlemates creeping towards the B hold as Hero is still left out in middle here.
Timing just not fully on his side. It's now the main push of Navi make their way in, and Filu once again with the entry is looking good, but elbow being taken, the mate back in, and this could be a bonus round conversion, which Navi do not want. It seems as if that is going to be the case though, as Hero has to clutch up 1 versus 3. Time not in his favour, neither the numbers. Gentlemates up to a bonus round conversion.
Yeah, the setups from Gentlemates on this defense of Pearl already looking way better than what we saw from them on Split. Glyph gets a little bit caught here, indecisive perhaps, to deviate from that initial game plan of playing the set retake through Martin's ult, but the rest of the team then flood behind it, and we do end up getting a sight hold from Gentlemates. Navi just not ready for running into that amount of numbers. So 3 uncontested is the perfect way to get back in the game after losing the opener.
Oh, straight back to it through the A main, trying to post that up through utility. It seems if both teams are going to shake the hand, and unfortunately nothing comes off the back of it. So Navi move through towards Art, where Martin is the only one holding.
Put under the microscope here, Martin. 8-0 as it stands, but this feels like it may be his first death. That's unless he's got anything to say about it. The flash does slow down Navi, but held at arm's length in Art right now. Looks like Martin's done just about enough to head them in Mini's direction. Trap broken, and so is the skull of Ruxic. Navi down to their last 2 members with little ground taken.
Yeah, that's not players you really want to be walking into with Sheriffs, right? You want players to be, I guess, walking into you in the prime condition, but Sociable has gone walking into CT, and Glyph's caught him with the spike in hand. So overall, this anti-eco, if they can get it flawless, would be huge for Gentlemates. And it is. So, great play so far from the defence of Gentlemates. Can they continue on though? Because the next round for Navi is where they're going to have their bye, and Angel wants to make sure this is a round win.
Absolutely. Pearl for Gentlemates historically has been a map they've wanted to try and play a lot. I mentioned it earlier. We saw them show it 4 times this year in VCT. But not once was Mini on the Cypher here. So, again, it's just these slight changes that you're seeing, maybe factoring in the Blender draft as well when you consider the fact that we will have Haven as the decider, where he would probably want then the Killjoy to be available again.
Yeah. Do you think we'll still see priority? I keep using the word priority just because of the blender draft and stuff like that. I need to get it out of my vocabulary. But the point being, do you think we'll see more Viper maybe come into the mix again once we get towards standard competition, Hazza? Obviously, it banned here because both teams played it on split. But Peril was always a map that depended on which team and what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I don't know. Viper's just a really strong agent across the board in general, but I feel like maybe Pearl right now isn't as well suited to double controller as it had been, or at least maybe not those selection of agents. It's kind of hard to say what teams' preferences are at the moment, but obviously you do get that extended coverage with the Viper, of course. Just so many lanes, it feels like a Sentinel is required to gather you that extra information as Gentlemates come in here. Early A main duel, reveal onto Na'Vi to stop them from escalating that.
Just stop it, and you can already see as the players start to move towards the A site how well stocked it is in terms of what is needed. Stars and the legs, and I mean there was Cypher utility to know if there was anybody coming from the other extremity of Arc. Overall, it's netted nothing. Still 5v5 in the server.
Yeah, Gentlemates with 4 bodies in position to try and defend A here. Spycam left behind by Mini in middle. That's what ties all of this together. Shao full sticking the plant and Na'Vi moving to post. They have plenty of utility to drop back on here, but that's if they can find stronger post-plant positions. Mini's already managed to cut Filu out of the site and Ruxic not too far behind. The double duel is disposed of, and now the last 3 remaining members all set up with their util.
Yeah, that they are, but it's the bodies, the numbers that's going to be in Gentlemate's favour, and they continue to make it work.
Shao one more. Still has the pull available on cooldown, but forced to take those fights early. Means that he doesn't get to invest the utility, and it's a whitewash from Gentlemates. A team ace on the round, that's 5 from 5.
Yeah, I mean, the point that Gentlemates are able to go 5-0, you're really worrying, right? Not just because of like the scoreline and the way that Gentlemates are winning, but it's the context of the fact that Angel timed out literally before this round. The fact that Na'Vi get into post without having any casualties and every single player is alive. I'm not saying, I don't know how they've lost it, right? There's obviously been problems in post and allowing ones to be taken by Gentlemates. I'm just wondering, like, how are Na'Vi not more aggressive in the way that they're trading out? Oh.
Managed to find an opening pick here onto Martin. Glyph by himself in Art behind this Astra smoke. Looks like he can prop it up for now. Coming back to what you're saying, I think it's just once you dive into the site, it's difficult to get back out without there being a trade, and Gentlemates did have numbers there early to backfill. Glyph with a fake this time, and he drops the Filu.
I mean, this is what we were looking for Gentlemates at the moment, as we, sorry, not for Gentlemates, for Na'Vi, right? They find themselves an advantage, clear out of all his A site. That spike can go down. Just note that there is the Neon that can easily start to come back in of Bippo. The Stars will take some timing. Lovely spray transfer. At least Hero able to create a foundation for this post plant. We look at Mini to try and clutch up himself.
Yeah, Na'Vi in a 3 versus 1, and they have plenty of utility here. Stars on the spike, and 1 salvo left on Sociable by my count. Doesn't need it. In fact, he didn't have the salvo. He'd already used it. But Na'Vi get on the board regardless.
It's just as well, we don't rely on you for counting points and stuff like that, Hazza. This is unbelievable from Hero. Has managed to luck out there. And that's what started the role for Na'Vi to get back into this one, to get their first round. Will it be enough? That's a question I don't know the answer to. Na'Vi, though, have shown us in the past that they can come back from large deficits. 7-2 is what they were down on split.
Yeah, you saw the synergy in that round as well between the Yoru and the Teho to just condemn early space. Here it's Bippo with the op. Fires into a crowd behind smoke. Doesn't look like he's found anything from that though. No damage either really. Now in front of the setup, the Waylay ult gonna hit him afterwards. Trade still not coming through. Filu able to TP out of dodge, and Bippo finally drops to Ruxic, but it's a 4 versus 2 situation. Make that 4v1. Shao left with it all to do. Spike on his shoulders, and he just can't carry the burden. Gentlemates pick up where they left off.
I mean, the Gentlemates ultimates compared to that of what we've seen invested by NAVI are a pittance, right? I mean, you saw it right there. It was the neural theft one, which is very circumstantial, and the run it back, which is the fastest ultimate to come back up. Gentlemates not only win the round, but they probably win the ultimate cycle as well off the back of that. So a huge round to win for the defense, and an opportunity now to really kick on with the fact that the next round win guarantees an advantage in the next half.
That's what Gentlemates will be looking for here, and Mini is inviting pressure on B towards his Cypher setup. One trap placed and ready for a player crossing in. Rooksix over the top, and Mini's stunned up. It's the fake out which he connects to, so that reveal doesn't do all too much. Rooksix slaughtering Martin in the background. Mini's not too far behind. Na'Vi accelerating into this B site, knocking down every Gentlemates player along the way. Glyph, the captain, will go down with the ship, and so Na'Vi double up.
Probably getting confidence off the back of it. Hey, sometimes you just have to rush B, you know what I mean? Like that's the way that it went for NAVI, quickened to pace up, and Gentlemates couldn't live with it. This site was pretty stricken for support and for utility. Mini tries to find a corner to play in, doesn't, I guess, call the fact that there could be players in towards elbow, and that's where the first domino fell.
Yeah, no one steps out to help him, right? And off the back of it, you were talking about ult economy just a round ago. Na'Vi were one away from these big ults to just condemn space, and now they have both of them. The Teho Annihilation, is it? I can't forget. It's been too long in the lockdown as well. Rooksix does drop early. Armageddon, sorry, that's the one.
Yeah. At this moment in time, though, the difference in this round is that NAVI are trying to play with the condition in their set. Although that Nightfall will probably deal with it, as both players do get caught by a Nightfall.
They have info on this mid portion. That's where Gentlemates then focus their efforts towards long. Filu lands the flash, but the shots are messy. 4 versus 2 situation. 3 of those players on Gentlemate's side are on the site here. One of them, Bippo, with the ult. The stun should settle it, and there you go. 7-2. Mates will have their lead.
Yeah, again, Ultimate's committed to that one. Gentlemate's using the overdrive and the Nightfall, but they'll be happy just to get that round over the line and confirm what is 7 for them at least in the next half. Yeah, I like the idea from NAVI that they try to play with the conditioning. They've been very quick on B long, but then have 2 players that can lock through lane to try and activate. But unfortunately for them, the gunfights just did not go their way at all.
That's the thing as well, if NAVI just assume Gentlemates are going to be fast rotating onto a B execution, that's where you'll look to take those timings through middle, which has now been fully conceded by the defense. Just the cam on towards connector, which has been broken by Rooksix.
There.
Mid is where NAVI have got most of their space so far, depositing Rooksix for a late play later in the round. And the Neon of Bippo needs to be careful that he doesn't get peeked when he doesn't want to. Philo pinging that out. Utility to force the Neon elsewhere in the spam. Somewhat good. Tries to go for a double dip, but that's not to be advised.
Yeah, again, great use of the salvo, but there is still ults here that NAVI may want to commit to take A control. They're actually going to double back and head towards Rooksix's position. He's deeply inserted up the guts and into B.
It's just this trap that gives the information straight away. An ultimate, an Armageddon thrown in. And you know that Mini will find it hard to hold on to this, although does still get a kill. And is there a pocket in which to work with? No, there's not. It's great usage to gain control of the site, but look at Starzo in B Heaven, as well as Hero coming from behind. Who gets there first? Who activates first? It seems to be Hero. Still 3v3. The site under siege as Gentlemates try to get out quick, and Martin trying to find his next duel quickly. It doesn't come his way as both players duck and dive and dodge away from the Phoenix. The time ticking away, and Martin, now the onus on him to try and dice up these fights. So well played, the turret for contact, but that doesn't mean you're going to win the fight. Lockdown now committed. Hero knows that he's got time, but he needs to get on towards that spike. Well, there could have been a defuse. Instead, Martin forced away. That spike about to explode, and NAVI will find their third.
Goodbye, Martin. It was a nice attempt, but
yeah,
both NAVI players with post-plant utility, little way that he could win that without a big mistake. Sure, Hero has to invest the ultimate there, but it's worth it. Nice one-way cage from Mini, but on the whole, NAVI taking great space, and Hero is their savior again.
And again, we find ourselves with NAVI fighting back from a 7-2 deficit like they did against Joblife. And again, like, the reason why I keep highlighting that, Hazza, is it seems again the mentality that NAVI have built in this squad looks one that is indomitable, one that can fight back from any position. Can they fight back from this? A 7-4 and 7-5 scoreline would be a very good showing so far from what has been a poor start to the first half.
There.
Rifles are out for mates, though.
Here.
All 5 players towards the mid position. NAVI have been drawing success from here, a conduit for their results. Hero can only trade out the body of the Phoenix player, and with that, Bippo catches the next. 5 versus 3 situation. Great adaptation from Gentlemates.
Everyone begins to walk back towards mid to see if Gentlemates have taken anything up. But that neural theft, I mean, it's next to nothing in terms of investments for ultimates. And that will give all the information that this mid-rounding is needed for the defence to start to gain the round themselves. So although NAVI do want to fight it, and there's ultimate being sent in by either, sorry, utility sent in from either side is awkward, and one that allows NAVI back into the round. I was looking at Glyph now, traded out, and now an escape for Sociable.
Yeah, he's going to be able to just about get the better of this timing. Bippo doesn't want to reveal his position by using the high gear, and Sociable planting open. He's going to be looking for a reposition, likely towards long, it seems, in the close corner. The question is, does he have a salvo this time?
That is the question. And for Bippo, the question is does he realise the position of the tail? Yeah, there is no salvos, it has to be on the gunfights. Bippo now trying to clear all the way through towards CT, and even through Heaven. Time is getting low.
Sociable doesn't want to use the salvo either because it would give away his position. He has the drop here on Bippo.
That he does, looking to swing out, knew that Bippo committed to the spike, and NAVI fight back 2 versus 4. That should have never ever been NAVI's round, but Hazza, that just goes to show what will happen when you try to force things too much.
Yeah, I suppose so. I really liked the call from Gentlemates, to be honest. This was a great 5 versus 3, but it goes 5v2. Starso gets traded, and they continue brawling, like you say. I think that's where the mistake is made, ultimately.
30 seconds left.
And they pay a very heavy cost as Sociable gets a clutch.
Frustrating one to watch if you are Paco from the coach slot, and now the players continue with their brawling, and unfortunately they're getting dealt a lesson here. Don't try and fight too much or you'll find yourself forced all the way back. Martin in the middle of no man's land. At least Mini gets a rifle back into his and drops a trap to mark his sight.
Yeah, very difficult position for him to try and play from, though. Waylay ult is available here for NAVI. And in the meantime, Glyph has been spotted on the back line. This can buy a lot of space, a lot of time for Gentlemates. And you can see what Mini's doing with that already. Brilliant shot onto Sociable.
Down B.
Does bring things back on side, and the spike noted now, so Mini still sticks around, thinking there's going to be a re-engage. There is. Fili walks out, wins the duel, and the duelist opening up what could be the round for NAVI. Back in We're going to even see a wheelie ultimate committed, the last round in which you can do so, and well, you can see right now there is no escape for the fate of Starzo.
Not cleared.
And that's going to be a nice shoot. Nobody even going through elbow to clear it out. As Starzo walks round, gets the spike denied. Hero does get left though, which means it's all up to Starzo. Needs to connect the shots in Hero low. So is the time. But Starzo peeking it out with his Prowler. He's just trying to buy time. Make sure that Hero's committed to the spike. Near sights the KG, or what I thought was. And well, we'll win the round for Gentlemates, 8-4. Starzo showing who's on top. And I think at this point in time, that shows exactly the story of this half.
Yeah, Navi really needed to take that little bit of deeper control and cut Starzo out of position because he wins the round in the end for Gentlemates. Such an important round as well when you then consider the fact that the difference between the 8-4 and 7-5 is a pretty big one. The reason why Navi probably don't go deep is because Shao was dropped by Martine. They didn't have smokes. They were worried about an elbow player being there to support. It's a decision which ultimately costs them.
I think I guess the biggest problem is the fact that, again, like Ruxic, it seems if all the players just want to keep on fighting, be the heroes, right? Whereas if Ruxic had maybe dropped off, been a little bit more tradable, would have been a different round. Settle yourselves. I mean, the micro obviously not necessarily developed between all the players, but that's two of the longest standing members on Navi on this roster, excluding Shao.
We're into the pistol now anyway, and Navi and Gentlemates both approaching A main as a priority of their early game plan. Navi needing this pistol round. It starts off with Martine drawing first blood, but Sociable equal to it. Fract active, but nowhere for Ruxic to fall back to. Out in the open, it's another Starzo double.
Oh, he is now committed to a deep position, trying to get that spike down. Hero trying to take his time in, but not to be advised. Gentlemates look to win another pistol round. This would be 3 out of 4.
Spike planted.
Shao in position for the 1 versus 3, but the crossfire is difficult to cut up. Has a star from which to work, but as the Nebula drops in main, that's an issue. Hang on. Shao in play. Second shot from Shao. Mini walks in! And he's equally as dead. I don't know how Gentlemates have messed that up, but Shao will take the triple.
That's like trying to kick the ball and kicking the turf. Gentlemates should have had everything that they needed, an open net, spike down, and they felt as if they had no impotence in this, right? It felt so poor. Nobody trading out, static in position. Like, for instance, here, Mini from main takes one shot, dips away, allows Shao an angle onto Glyph. And the problem's really starting to arise now for the French organisation. If Gentlemates lose this map, they are out of Project Blender. There's no coming back.
As critical as you can be, it's a very well-worked clutch from Shao that may not amount to much if Navi aren't careful here. Bippo is very quickly encroaching on the site with a Spectre in hand. And there you have it. Gentlemates losing another second half pistol. But the round directly following it is theirs.
Spike planted.
I mean, it's the exact same as Split. Although a Shao 1 versus 4, one better than his last round, would be incredible.
Can he possibly do it again? The first one onto Martine isn't clean. And I don't think Glyph is going to be having any of this. Just telling to his players not to make a mistake, tread lightly. Martine on low HP is the one let off the hook, as you can see. He's trying to find Shao here, who equally so is late to clear out Flowers, and will find Martine in the end. It's just saving the Bulldog, I suppose. Close to the smoke, he gets dropped. So Gentlemates respond brilliantly.
Yeah, the lead back to 4. I don't know how in the hell that they managed to win that round, but I guess it comes through players finding their positions, I guess, untradeable. I mean, you can see Filu trying to get out, but the numbers were already there for Gentlemates to really start to overwhelm the site.
Yeah. I think even in Shao's 1v3 clutch, you can see Gentlemates were trying to call a 1-2-3 peak, but it was just really clever positioning in the end. Here, it's just repeated success at finding these quick A executions. If NAVI aren't piling on the pressure with their own utility, it can be really difficult for them to challenge at times.
This A side's just been left. NAVI have gambled that this is going to be towards B. They've done the, oh, let's send a player out and see if that forces them towards the other side of the map. But it's not worked.
Yeah, it's just an eco here for NAVI, so you can understand the reasons for attempting something like this, but for Gentlemates, the A site has been far too easy up until now. 3 from 3 in terms of getting the spike down, and just that one miracle moment that stopped them from being flawless so far in this half. NAVI will be looking to drop to the spike, and this is a map which we've seen them play quite a lot of in recent history as well, Cairo. So not too surprising it finds itself in the veto.
Yeah, I would agree. And I guess with the last couple of players left here already, Gentlemates want to try and get ultimates online. Martin, which has done so, run it back. Hero now looking to be found, and he needs to go, by the way. If he is allowed to be kept alive, he would find himself with less economy than his teammates. That's not the case, double digits. And now, that gap of 5 has to begin to be worked on by this defensive NAVI, or else Gentlemates will push us to map 3.
Yeah, the last time we saw NAVI play Pearl was in Project Blender against Gamax. That's where they lost, where it moved on to a deciding map where NAVI ended up winning the series. Who knows if it's more of the same here or not, but a flawless third round conversion for Gentlemates sets them up really nicely. They have this Phoenix ult as a tool for execution. Starso's Nightfall right behind it as he just teased them up with this early space. It doesn't look like too much of a change up here from NAVI either in terms of how they're fighting it. He puts his body on the line early, but so does Hero. That's an overextension, punished on B.
Gentlemates Mini just runs out though, and with just a sheriff in hand, gets easily picked out. I don't know about that one. NAVI able to earmark the chokes, but it's up to Shao as he walks all the way up B long.
Receptive of this, Shao caught. Bippo able to find another kill on this B extremity. Filu's going to arrive in just the nick of time, but Glyph can hear all of this. The in-game leader might just be calling for a double back, and that's exactly what it is. A pump fake from the Neon, and an A finish through their Fade player.
I think they know about this, because Glyph jumped as he came out the cosmic form, so that's a problem.
I think so. The question is, can NAVI actually cut off the spike? It doesn't look like they can, as the majority of their players and Rooksik grouping up through Art. Starso finds the all-important frag onto Filu, and that might just be it. Not unless NAVI can fight their way out of a very difficult spot right now. Sociable creeping closer. It's Martin on default that they are yet to find. And when he strikes, the round has concluded in my mind. Little left to be done here for Rooksik. He has managed to get behind almost every player on the Gentlemates side, though. I was thinking maybe there's a world where he could have gone for a ninja there, perhaps. But it is a very fleeting thought.
Yeah, I think Glyph still has an Astra start in pocket. We won't get to find out as he's put to the grave. But at the same time, Gentlemates are up to 11. A rifle kit for NAVI, I guess, is a consolation. But overall, Gentlemates find themselves on the home straight.
May even be a best case scenario in the end for NAVI, for how the end of that round was looking, but as we see it unfold again on the replay, the B fight a real problem, especially with all of that utility up to get caught wandering. Hero's going to be pretty unhappy with himself watching that one back, that's for sure. 11-5. Gentlemates looking far more dominant than NAVI were on their own map pick of Split moments ago.
Cage triggered.
And with the defense forced onto another eco, They will try something different.
Couple warning shots, but it's about Ruxic being deposited so deep through mid. Gentlemates, a question posed, how do you re-clear this part of the map? Do you re-clear this part of the map? Because it's not integral for taking sites. It does help a lot though.
Yeah, Martin does get the A main orb. Spike is dropped out here in spawn as well. And Hero had the line. Can't find the shots with the Sheriff, and Martin equally so unable to punish. Gentlemate's thinking about this A-site finish, and only once they deal with Ruxic does it feel like a possibility. The group up now starting to happen, but Bippo sliding in, and that's an excellent kill on Sociable. May even just be deciding to send this one back, as Xiao again is isolated on B.
Does he try and find a pocket in which to work with? It looks like he's playing from default.
Does he have any stars here to support? Fast lane goes up, maybe an option to try and play around that. Horn not going to reveal him on the other side of the stand, but Starso knows his angles well. Xiao has been deleted, and so have Navi's hopes and dreams here, it feels. Filu has done damage, and potentially have been a chance to bridge that gap had Hero lived a little longer, but nothing going. 12 secured with a team ace. Gentlemates sprinting to the finish line and our decider.
I guess the saving grace for Navi is that they do have a buy, and it seems as if the last time it's going to be used before the, what could be the last round of this map. And the plans, I don't know, I feel as if Navi didn't look terrible on their attack. Sure, a few of the rounds they didn't look as if they really participated, but the rounds that they did look good. Should have maybe had more than what they actually got. But this defense, it felt as if like it's been very bipolar. They've moved across and they've just not looked like themselves.
It's another thing as well, when you come to these timeouts in an off-season event, you don't always have so much tape, and with there being constant experimenting, you don't know what is fact, what is fiction, right? So Angel coming in at this stage in the game doesn't feel like too much of a surprise, but he's only just now seen enough to actually make a tactful decision and decide on what it is Na'Vi have to change to get the results to bring this one back on side. It's got to be 7 from 7 if they are to save it here from going to Haven, Cairo. And we're seeing ops out on both sides for what feels like the first time, at least in this second half. Or perhaps in this game in general, honestly. We've not seen it anywhere near as much as we did on Split.
Yeah, I mean, Martin's usually the operator player for Gentlemates, but obviously he's not on one which you can easily TP away like a Yoru, or even a Chamber, even a Jet, perhaps. As Mini respects the cam destruction. Gentlemates once again get this A main for free, and they're going to try and use the run it back to try and assault in.
Martin was really respecting the utility in front of him there before the operator bullet puts him down. And Gentlemates have already threatened this A execution so many times as they conditioned it in the first 3 rounds. So back into a slower pace default. Ruxic the first to show face, but even supported by the Nova Pulse, can't find the opener.
See, Gentlemates now try and clear through mid. That's where Sociable stands all alone. There is a turret for contact, but can he win the duels? It seems as if he's going to be able to at least get one and get away. So Bippo gone, no gap close. Is that going to be an issue?
Ooh, Sociable gives his life up for it.
I know exactly where
Starso's dropped, and with the neural theft invested, Gentlemates have a better idea of the picture here. They want to accelerate into Hero now as he plays from the pit. He's going to get spammed out by Starso, and Mates have an advantage in post.
How they do? Well, the last remaining couple of players, good shots coming through. Navi, I mean, trying to retake into Gentlemates, but it's not to be advised now. As the advantage for the attack is there, and even hindered, Gentlemates can get it done. Well played from the French side.
Yeah, that's a really unfortunate way to lose Pearl. Philo also getting killed mid-animation, equipping his Yoru ult there. So this just wasn't the best of maps for Na'Vi, and one which we've seen thrown into the work shed, right, to have improvements made before it potentially returns for VCT 2026. We don't know what the map rotation will look like, as this does feel like the flavor of the month as far as off-season is concerned. But a much better performance from Gentlemates, as you say, and that's what they'll be looking for, to channel that momentum onto Haven and keep their tournament hopes alive.
Yeah, I guess this is where we go to a best of one to decide who actually continues on in the tournament, because if not, that's you, you're gone off the board, no chance of actually being able to fight through this. And overall, yeah, Na'Vi, like, this pistol round felt as if this was going to be them continuing on to, like, maybe a 2-0 sweep. And then from there, the answer straight back, I think, was the real issue for the Ukrainian organisation.
Yeah, Gentlemates get... We thank you for your patience, but fortunately it isn't too long before we're back on Haven and greeted with the agent select screen between Na'Vi and Gentlemates. This, for those who are just tuning in, an opportunity to book their slot in the quarterfinals on Friday. There is no lower bracket though, as you may be used to in VCT tournaments, so it's all on the line. A best of one on Haven to decide who moves through and who goes home.
Yeah, Haven is going to be a big map for both teams. Standard compositions across the board, and as we spoke about, Hazza, Na'Vi, the fact that they don't have the capability of using an Omen might be a big loss, but Neon and Yoru being able to be used, again, really wanting to get the most out of these double duelists, and the fact that they're pushing Ruxic more forward in the team. Interesting. Again, I still hold a little bit of reservations about how we want to see Ruxic played, but I guess we'll see. Maybe that's due to the fact that, like, for instance, that Viper isn't available.
Yeah, it's a completely different aspect of his skill set that we've just not really seen too much of. You consider Ruxic's history as a player, Cairo, the Waylay that he just showed was the first Waylay performance he's ever had. He's shown Neon once in the past, at least according to VLR, and he's also played Jet once. So he's not a duelist player by any means, but that seems to be Navi's solve for a double duelist meta read that quite a lot of teams have been using at the moment. That's what they're going to be using on the defense, very quickly testing Gentlemates.
Yeah, straight towards the garage with Filu and it's just a little bit lucky there. It seems so far people just trying to be a little bit too aggressive, and Gentlemates pretty surgical in the way they're coming back in. But look at Ruxic, he is like a homing missile towards the C-long. First player up is low, the headshots hit, a slide available but a trade there. Gentlemates find themselves 2-1 in this post plant.
Sociable double shock though, and damage on both players.
Yeah, that's true, but it's whether he really wants to bring out the shock. It looks pretty decent. Does not gain the kill though. The second shock should be good, but doesn't actually hit Glyph. So still, Biffle now needs to look towards the breach to get the trade, and does so in the end. So pistol round, Gentlemates win.
Yeah, Sociable looking for a bounce off the ground there, expecting Glyph to step back off the initial fight, but I think it's in Garage where Na'Vi really missed an opportunity. Filu's there with Hero and very quickly makes the call with a flash in hand to fight back through, but then they decide instead, actually, let's just hold the smoke, and Gentlemates double peek it. So bit of a 50-50 really. Would have liked to have seen them actually use the util and engage there. But in the second round, it's Ruxic with an Outlaw that doesn't look to get too much action early. Saying that, Mini's got to be careful.
Does, and it's Philo who does take the first contact, lucky to escape with his life. In the meantime, you can see the rest of Gentlemates working on the C side. It's Hero to hold within a smoke, and he's showing us something special. before. Does he have the goods this time round as well, as he finds himself in a position at the back of Plat, still within the smoke, but as that dissipates, he still takes one with him. But that C site should now be Gentle Mates.
And that is confirmed, especially when Martin picks up Filu there. 4 versus 3.
One
The
enemy
rifles
remaining.
just chewing through the Na'Vi players at the moment.
Yeah, everything looking excellent there from Gentle Mates. Chucking some guns back and forth to each other. And we can finally get started on the rifle round. Gentle Mates with 4 alive has a, we're expecting now to come through with a mighty healthy bonus.
Yeah, Gentle Mates, while they've won 3 out of the 6 pistol rounds, or 3 out of the 5 as it stands in this series, they've also won a couple of ecos up against Na'Vi. Towards the end of Split, and the same, of course, on Pearl. Chance for them to win the bonus here would be everything. Filu's moved up sewers, but is forced to TP out. You can also see Ruxic. He's just playing from the double stack on long, but has a slide to leave and is just committed to this position in the end.
Just dancing with the tight angle that he does have, but as you can see, everything's starting to be ready. Gentle Mates do want a bit of this. They do want to try and challenge the Astra. A spray through the smoke, next a kill. Or a couple of them, I should say. Spike now in the back of Jet. So now, what can Stars will get done, or what can both players get done, is Filu's trying to find something, trying to get a kill. Does have a TP out, instead opts not to use it, and would rather try and fight and escape elsewhere. Double up here, and one that Bip will fall victim to. So Starzo with a Sheriff clutch. It's going to be a tough ask, to be honest, and that is what it ends up being. Ruxic Stinger trades out.
Gotta go.
Yeah, nicely done from Na'Vi.
Thanks.
Get themselves an early round and stop Gentle Mates from channeling some initial momentum. As we know, Haven can be very heavy-handed in that metric. And I've got to say, one thing that I'm immediately noting from Na'Vi here is just this willingness to take aggressive early duels. Shao does so well, to find his double again. And you can see the building blocks in terms of performance from player to player.
It's just whether how you can far you can build at the moment. I guess for either team, to be honest, right? Momentum, Haven, that's the big component of it. Sociable does get rid of Bippo, and there's going to be even ultimates thrown into the mixer. But look at the omens so far. Martin very far in front as the spam comes through. Sociable even finds him. So Navi should have this round in the bag.
Should. We will see what transpires. Starso really did need to find that one clean if there was to be any belief that this could happen. Mini is just going to leave from A long as well as they look to head elsewhere, which is the best decision right now with hindsight in mind, as Na'Vi are still stacked on A. They've got the Cypher util to hold up the other end of the map. For Gentle Mates, it's about getting a player in an aggressive position and seeing if they can pick one off before this goes into post, or not long after.
Cam has found Mini at least, so players now start to make their way over. It's all about Starzo now.
Left.
Importance
One enemy
put
remaining.
upon him. Unfortunately, it now leaves Mini in a 1 versus 4 clutch. So with utility sent his way, I mean the big one being the stun, there's not a lot of opportunity to escape to a long position. I mean with smokes up you wouldn't necessarily want to, and too many targets means too difficult to choose, and we end up all even once again.
Nice last couple of rounds from Na'Vi. That A lobby brawl suiting them well, and with the Hunter's Fury online, great use of the ultimate from Sociable to make it that much more difficult to fight if your mates had their own breach ult coming into the round, so it should have just been the standard call for an A hit.
30 seconds left.
And that's where Glyph is really going to be tested as an in-game leader, when he has to change up his plans here against Na'Vi. in the mid-round. And also with it being a completely different role, initiator instead of smokes for him. This time A looking a little less heavy on the Na'Vi side though. Immediate respect shown by the attack.
It seems as if there's a little bit scared. Careful of what can happen through that A lobby that we've seen have Preston's set of aggression. But a redrone through is what is being called by Glyph. And realistically, they're going to get nothing from it. Know that the space is clear, but still more utility needs to be spent to get towards A. That is where Gentlemates want to go.
Yeah, player that we highlighted in the build-up, Filu there, getting a little more active in middle. Good information for Na'Vi, but him TPing out does leave a bit of a gap now. Gentlemates look to be going back to this same call. Take the A site with the Rolling Thunder, but Na'Vi playing off site have their own Astra ult to come in for this retake.
Yeah, they're going to flood back in to the backside spot. Although, still more utility to be sent forward by Gentlemates, but one which Na'Vi can try and deal with. Good flash from Filu, one which actually nets him a kill. And now we look at Shao on site, all alone, and no help needed. Na'Vi gain the advantage, and Gentlemates look nothing like themselves.
Yeah, it's looking a lot like the start of Split right now, Cairo. A pistol round win, an anti-eco conversion, which very quickly translates into Na'Vi actually doing much better in the rifle rounds. The more important rounds, the ones which make up the bulk of this game. And Mr. Consistent Shao is there to clean it all up and put them down onto a lesser investment. I really like that Na'Vi actually did just want to fast flood there with the smoke up. Seeing Filu bring out an outlaw to punish here. His TP isn't too close to support if he opts to leave, but he does stick around to find Bippo at least initially.
And then gets out of dodge. Hero trying to spam through, doesn't net anything, but the Sheriff shots look good. Not again! It seems as if Gentlemates have some sort of ability to cuss their opponents when they go into thrifty rounds. Some of the players still sticking with the Sheriff.
Look, let's not talk Gentlemates and curses just yet. Sociable has a 1 versus 3.
Unfortunately,
Gentlemates look to be playing this correctly.
Yeah, he's been noted, right? And you don't want to give anything away to a clutch. Shots not too bad in the placement, but not what is going to win the round. It is, in fact, Gentlemates just brawling, mauling their opponents as they hit that C site. And, I mean, with the priority that was set early with the anti-eco and pistol round, you would have thought that Gentlemates would have started to hit this site a lot sooner.
Honestly, Na'Vi look most uncomfortable when teams are just directly executing straight into them. And that's where Filu picking up on op here is going to be a real hindrance to what Gentlemates want to try and attempt. That's if he can land the shot. In sewer, early doors. There's a smoke up in his face from Gentlemates, just specifically so they can drone from Starso with a little bit of extra ground. So taking the long fight and winning it onto Bippo. So Na'Vi with an early advantage. Filu yet to be tested, and key initiator utility wasted to try and clear him off. So a 5 versus 3 for Na'Vi. This is where Hero's got to be careful. He does have the heads up on Mini, and that should be a freebie.
It should be, and it does give away the information on the last 2 players. So Hero straight away position himself to take the fight on the last 2 players. They're trying to get in towards C, and it's good delay.
Yeah, he's already absorbed the brunt of this push, so the rest of the Na'Vi players very quickly embed themselves in C long alongside him in support. Gentlemates really don't have anywhere to go. They need to find some extra ground, and in amongst the madness, Starso finds himself in no man's land. Glyph trying to fight back into this. Stun lands at his feet, and Hero makes his reprisal on the C site to a deafening applause on the Na'Vi side of the server. 4-3, and the lead is restored.
Yeah, doing really well. And once again, like, you're seeing just the amount of times that Navi deny economy opportunities for Gentlemates through the fact that this spike doesn't go down. And that's a fair few rounds that we're seeing that in Navi round wins. And that's going to put real problems for the attack. And that's why Paco, unhappy with what he's seeing, and gonna call a timeout.
Yeah, it comes at a crucial impasse in the game right now, where Gentlemates, having, you know, barely just won that eco moments ago, to then immediately being shut out by Na'Vi from a much more convincing game plan and use of the op and pressure on the extremities through Hero, have to try and figure out how they can find repeated success on this attack side, especially with the ults that they have. Na'Vi have been banking some of their own if required. Especially looking at that Astra ult, the Yoru and the Sova all being huge tools for a retake if they're forced to give away any room. And of course, the Sova naturally being a counter to the lockdown on the mate's side.
Yeah, this is a lot of ultimates stockpiled at the minute. Ones which can win rounds, ones which could tip the scales. At this moment in time, it's the A lobby once again that we look towards. There's Ruxic, the one trying to get on towards an angle, using the fast lane to work his way out. Gentlemates, seems as if they have ideas about B, where a crossfire has been established, but it's not on the site. It's from either link, and Shao just escapes towards backside.
Gentlemates using the elevation to get in, but Shao playing right underneath it, yet to be revealed as Martin jumps from either side and does get caught out in the end. Hero arriving in perfect time, and Sociable happy to invest this ult into the tightly packed lane yet again. That is a mistake from Ruxic. A bit of an overcommitment there out into the open. Drone should be cancelled through the shot here. Filu has the support, so Mini is left with little to do as the op drops another. 5-3, Na'Vi back to winning ways.
Continuing on that way as well, and could it be even better for them with the economy state? I'm really going to put a big question mark over Martin so far. The Omen, sure is great, has been great on Icebox, for instance, but it's essentially a duelist, right? And so far, yeah, he's got 4 kills, but I don't know if I'm necessarily convinced just yet. Need to see how it continues on.
Yeah, I would say I'm also pretty happy on the Na'Vi side with that round, at least, just as the reaction to B as an area that we've literally not seen tested once by Gentlemates, and that almost makes it a little bit easier for them to read, I would say.
Cage triggered.
Immediately coming out of a timeout and putting pressure where you haven't before. Insert into Garage, but Na'Vi look like they want to retake this space.
Yeah, they do want these fights, but they did not identify Bimbo, and that's the big problem. Although, paying attention to the little details are Navi, and that's how Shao gets rid of Philo walking up, the hipfire not hitting, not connecting, and now the A site open.
Yeah, looked like Na'Vi were trying to do a little bit too much at once there. Filu overexerting himself on A while the rest of the players were trying to reclaim Garage space. And now Na'Vi have a real handful. Martin finding the impact when called upon. And the lockdown in play means that Hero has to find an answer soon.
So, I mean, Gentlemates kind of stuck on site, but they have created the lane. Shao now taking up on the back lines, and if he could win this out, it would be massive! Because now it just leaves Martin on site, and a 1 versus 1 with Hero up above. Does he realise the player is below him, although Martin's still alive? Could he get on the angle? Whoa, what a quick flick! On to Shao now, who he'll win. Does he have enough time? It looks like it. Na'Vi gets 6 when they should have had no chance.
Yeah, Shao connecting a transfer there. Dire straits at points in the round, and I have to point the finger at Filu again. Felt like Na'Vi made the right play to take the space back, but Filu, knowing that he's the sole A player, has to give a little bit more respect, I think, in that situation. The lurk smoke placed by mates. You know, ults of their own invested here, Cairo. That lockdown was huge, and they'll be without it in the next.
Yeah, that's like where we think, like, with ultimates, when you feel like you're maybe a bit further down, you get the opportunity to, you can maybe start to bridge gaps, find a way. Hero now all on C alone, plenty of utility to support. I mean, that teleport not going to be used now from Filu. So with the site taken and Spike to go down, where does Navi look next?
Gentlemates have an open plant, and they're also still holding on to this rolling thunder. Glyph is so important in stopping a retake attempt.
Yeah, he needs to be able to make sure that does connect. Cosmic Divide and Dimensional Drift could be used for Navi to get back in. Filu given the information back, but as the players start to make their move, this is going to be problems because Shao's able to get back. Oh, the back site now, that's where the moves are being made. The Rolling Thunder gone, but it's two players, two duelists now trying to make their way back in. I think they're not going to try and attempt it. Happy with what they've got and allowing Gentlemates to have the round.
Yeah, that's really, really nicely played from Gentlemates. Saw what the ideas were from Na'Vi there. Filu clears all of the space inside the site with his ult and then joins Bippo on long, but also gives away his positioning at the same time when that Neon stun comes in. Glyph just directly counters it with the breach ult. Gentlemates turn their attention towards the spawn fight and win it, just knowing when and where the concessions are made and when they need to fight. Really good protocols.
I mean, still though, Gentlemates for me haven't done enough. I feel as if I'm being really negative today, Haz, and I don't mean to be. Where is this trap for?
It's the off-season, mate. We all miss the real Valorant.
Yeah, exactly. And we're still months away from that at the moment. Still though,
early doors. This is probably like the furthest that we've actually seen him push up on a round and stick around.
I like that, and then you've got the Sova behind it as well to break any utility like this owl drone that could clear him out.
So Sociable being he's so wide on the angle there as the Sova player, you have to expect an insert.
Right there.
It's really common to play as the initiator on that side of the map by yourself, but Ruxic has got him behind, and Navi is still checking spawn for this ult.
Oh, that's nice. He's been set up for the updraft and dash, and well, Shao immediately gets an easy kill off the back of it. You could see Hero a little distracted about the back of sight.
Ruxic.
Yeah, if there was going to be an Omen ult, but Ruxic, that is, what has happened there? A disaster. A player who's usually good for hitting finally decides to use a sledgehammer for what a job that could have been done by a screwdriver, right? He could have just hit those shots earlier on, made it easier for himself.
But now he's sat in their spawn, and Gentlemates don't know what to do. They've cancelled their plans, and it looks like they're going to be taking this round off Cairo with just one more left to play.
Yeah.
I can't say I know for certain what the money looks like, but you'd assume it's not in the best of states. Salty, at the very least, wins the duel on Ruxic, which stops matters getting any worse. But that was a really nice aggressive move from the duelist.
And the worst part about that last round there is that you've already seen Gentlemates use a timeout. You don't want to use a second one right now.
In the half.
And if you allow Navi to get up to 8 on their defence, do you have any chance of coming back into this? Sure, it's the standard composition, but oh, come on, guys. Do we really need to slow that down? Point I'm getting to, Hazza, is that we've seen this standard comp be used on defence, and many a time it doesn't show weak on the defensive side. Seems as if Navi are the ones actually who are going to time out instead. That's an interesting one.
Yeah. I don't know why you're surprised that we see the Ruxic whiff there, man. We're going to get every fight in the round replayed, of course. But Angel in coach slot here, I don't feel like there's too much work for him to do. It's kind of interesting, I think, just at this stage in the game, deciding to check in with the players and maybe sort some things out mentally. Maybe the comms are getting a little bit hectic, despite the success of the previous round. Hard to say.
Maybe just wanting to make sure that, hey, listen, guys, if we do hit 8, this is a massive win for us. Moving on to that attack, getting the double duelist in play. So with that being said, we will find ourselves with a timeout used by either side.
Yeah. I mean, you were very vocal in the build-up to this one about how Angel has talked a lot of Haven as a map and the theory, so we should know what is required to take this in the second half. Opdual won by Bippo. That's a huge pick on Sociable.
Oh, Ruxic. It's lucky though, because Shao's still been able to sit here. Plenty of damage, and that will net Gentlemates their kill. Has this been a mistake to allow Paco back into the comms and make corrections on what has been a relatively poor half by Gentlemates? Seems so far that has been the case. Is Philo now the perhaps saving grace from NAVI? Lovely shot.
He had a quick reposition towards short as well. Still a trap on long, and Hero can play off this, but the spike has to cross.
It does.
Mini gets the line first.
Yeah, the fact that Mini had the line first, Philo, I thought for a moment, may be able to make it work for him like he did in the last engagement, but it's Hero now playing within the smokes, playing within the traps, and well, it seems as if he's the one who's going to come out on top. Ruxic to support, and on a 2-on-2, that spike has to head elsewhere. How have Gentlemates let this one go again?
Martin placed a smoke like he was the Jet player TPing into the site, but it gave Hero a room from which to work.
Oh no.
He's going to attempt this, but there's just no chance, no time. Hang on.
Hey, listen, I think Gentlemates are hanging on, and by not much. Just the thread is left. Again, I hate to be like a negative Nancy here, but overall, Gentlemates, since we've been on Haven, they've not impressed me. They look as if they're making mistakes consistently. I understand it's the off-season, but at what point do we stop talking about it, right? Because it feels as if it's constant at the moment.
Yeah, I think Martin maybe just trying to fake that one out or something. I don't know. Hero makes the most of the opportunity. Can't give him that much space. 8-4 in favor of Navi this time. And the pistol is that much more important for Gentlemates. See, they're trying to set up for this mid-fight where Philo is currently getting active.
Very aggressive through the ace shot, holding on through that, and now a question mark of Gentlemates to be asked, have they sat there? Have they moved elsewhere? Seems at the moment Navi will want to hit into this, but they are hitting into a massive stack.
Yeah, Mini's holding up the rest of the map with this dive down middle. The Canary in the coal mine, first sign of danger. 3 players on the site, the 4th body's with the paranoia, and as it's sent in by Martin, only Ruxic on the ground. Navi very slow in their approach towards this site, and as they step back out, it's just Shao for a moment, and the rest of Gentlemates clean things up. Not sure about that pistol from Navi, but it felt like the defense did everything right.
I think it's given me reminiscence of Split, if I'm being honest, with the fact that there was a lot of, I guess, poor initiative being taken from Navi. Well, I guess not a lot of it, I should say. And that leaves us with the final pistol round taken. Gentlemates 4, Navi 2 in pistols. So something to work on for Angel as we still have this off-season.
Plenty of time to do it. Gentlemates have guns here. It's so laboured for Martin, but he is going to find the kill. So Navi don't get a C-site opener, but what they do find is garage space, and Hero just a whisker away from what could have been round deciding. Instead, Glyph shuts it down, and we think a little more about the next.
Starzo, Sheriff in hand. I don't think this is the best position right now, because Sociable knows, and he's wary of the positioning of the Sova.
I mean, does he know? Really?
One enemy remaining.
I thought he did.
Spike
Why would you
down
stop
mid.
there, right? Did you think maybe
seeing if a player was going to push up and overextend, trying to punish, but nothing going, and Starso reads the situation well. That is flawless round after flawless round for Gentlemates now, and the perfect way to kick off your defender's side.
Could you imagine if we actually just seen a defensive-sided Haven and one which Gentlemates do come back after me criticising them so much? I felt I would really feel bad for the criticism that I'd levied against Gentlemates if that was the case.
I can already tell you can, because you've mentioned it a few times already today,
Yeah.
how much you're not meaning to incite violence on these teams. The ones doing that here, though, are Gentlemates, and unfortunately enough for you, Cairo, it doesn't look to be a good start, but Starso! Well, the stars have aligned here. He finds 3 very quickly, and in that flash of brilliance, Gentlemates do have a player advantage.
How they do it. But again, something that keeps popping up left, right and centre is that Gentlemates, in a deficit, always allow NAVI back in. Just a chance. Need this to go over the line cleanly if you're the defence.
Yeah. I think this is the slight issue, that the B site is left open. A already fully conceded. Means that Gentlemates don't feel too comfortable to keep that double stack in logs for fear of being overexposed in a late wrap. Fully conserving the numbers, playing for a retake situation here. Xiao's got to make sure he breaks that nano, or it's going to be a bit of a
30
problem
seconds left.
in delaying the time.
Well, with the Molly gone and the information
Spike
given,
planted.
Spike is down. So we look at how Gentlemates come back in towards the site. Xiao already trying to prepare stars, but he's prepared Hero for 1 versus 3. And unfortunately for Mr. 1 versus 3, he can't even get a kill started into it. So Gentlemates are back within 1, a bonus round converted in momentum firmly at the back.
Yeah, huge moment from Starso. A phenomenal spray, a lucky spray, whatever you want to call it. It did give them an advantage, and one which they were very diligent in maximising. Credit can be given to Glyph there for how he set up the team. Playing to those win conditions, and for NAVI, these crazy brawls and fast-paced plays, even with their setup of double duelist, hasn't actually looked the best for them so far. I really do prefer a slower tempo, the old NAVI way that we remember in terms of how they want to default.
Yeah, considered one of the best in the world at it, right? Back in those FPX days as well. The tempo that they like to set. A real macro team. In fact, you could probably say the previous iteration to what G2 has become now, Hazza.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big conversation to open, but definitely between them and Fnatic in EMEA, a similar-ish style. The op has been spotted early doors here. Bippo forced to drop back to see Link from top B. But every lane is currently accounted for. And as things go quiet, with that deep alarm bot on C, and some decent control through mid, Gentlemates should start to be thinking about A, and that would have been confirmed if the drone spotted anything, but they've managed to actually slip away from view here.
Yeah, escape. So as the players now start to move forward, you look at Glyph once more, he's starting to create a little bit of delay and allow for his teammates to come back into support, but they make their stand through the portion next to CT, and unfortunately allow the site to be taken.
I think Gentlemates really would have liked a short smoke there to actually fight from backside, but it's a true 5 versus 5 in the retake. But Bippo lends the advantage, and you can see Starso setting up for the ult to send them back in now. Recon landing in a common position. Sociable has his hands busy, so he can't break it. So mates get good info on the way back in, and Bippo spearheading it means that the ult is surplus to requirements up against the eco. Swept under the rug are NAVI. We're at a tied game.
Yeah, at 8-8, I thought that this would have been done after that 8-4 half pistol round win, Navi put themselves in prime position, but instead, once again, Demons continue to haunt the Ukrainian organisation. Nice little retake from Gentlemates all over, right? I think that's the big thing. They needed to get that over the line as cleanly as possible. So it is Angel to take his second timeout of this half.
Yeah.
Well, this half of this game.
Right, second timeout of the game, but previous timeout was at the end of the first half. And unfortunately for Angel, so far on Haven, his success rate after those timeouts is 0%. Gentlemates have won every single round possible in that stretch of time. So it makes sense that he wants to involve himself again here. And in terms of what Na'Vi maybe need to do better, I think consistently apply a little bit more pressure across the map would be a good start.
We've not really seen that, right? Like the fact that they're playing with not just their timings, but just playing with the conditioning or like the audibles given. Like for instance, you think about that pistol round, right? They were very loud and kind of showing their force, but then they paused and didn't do anything with that. They just stayed in the same position, moved bodies to fight them, thinking that Gentlemates would move away, and that's not what happened.
I think that's the thing, right? You have this Killjoy setup, which a lot of the time has been holding up a lot of the space. Bippo aggressive for the first time. Gentlemates actually want to dive bomb in. And the duelist is removed early, relieved of his duties. It's a perfect start for Na'Vi.
But can they roll this into a round win? That's the question, and one that we demand the answer to. Rooksik, not wanting to challenge Mini.
Yeah, just toying with it, right? You know, as soon as that turret contact gets hit, Mini's looking for a quick swing. But Na'Vi have navigated this round well. They've avoided all signs of danger and are ready to hit the C site. 5 players strong against the captain.
Oh, and he's sticking around for it, playing from logs. The smoke just came in at the wrong time as Rooksik had got a notice on the breach, and unfortunately for him, he's off the board. So I think we should expect now that Na'Vi should have the goods to take the round, and with Philo finding Martin, it certainly looks to be the case. The Cosmic Divide, an issue, and one which Gentlemates could not get overcome.
Yeah, Gentlemates are playing for exits more than just truly saving here, because they already have quite a lot of money from the last 4 rounds or so. And any damage is going to be good damage for Na'Vi, but this round might just end flawlessly if Shao has anything more to say about it. Just Starso left. And it looks like all of those attackers are going to be walking down that C-long corridor and getting away with this one, no problem.
Yeah, with we now finally having Na'Vi respond. Angel at least repairs his round win rate post timeout and brings his team back on side. So 1 round advantage, ultimates though coming online for Gentlemates and even an operator as well.
This one looking better from Na'Vi. Dealing with Bippo early on. It's one of those situations where you make that util commitment, he's kind of stuck out in the space wondering, okay, where are the players here? And Shao just gets a really good timing. So there becomes a point where you've got to give that up. Now Gentlemates want more of the same through middle this time, with the op teeing this up.
Oh, and it seems as if Na'Vi are moving into it as well, has it. From above, Rook 16 and entry taken. Bippo happy with that. Drops away and looks to set up the operator on A, which is going to be an information game, really.
Much better start to the round from VCT EMEA's first Italian player. And it was set up through the rest of mates. Just containing this position. Again, the Killjoy back towards Garage with this util, which Na'Vi are yet to run into. Bippo, no dash, or has it now primed, so he's committed to that fight, but he does give it up eventually.
Na'Vi wanting to come back towards C after putting that pressure towards A, and it's pulled some a majority of players onto the site, maybe thinking about that pistol round, Hazza, where Navi stopped and then re-hit.
Yeah, Gentlemates usually are strong siding A towards the late round. That's where Navi will find an advantage on this C push, but Soverall is perfectly placed through the garage lane, making it almost impossible for Navi to get out on the site, and when they do, greeted by Martine, Mini not too far behind. Another flawless round for Gentlemates, answering in kind to what Navi just put up.
Still keeping them equal, and yeah, as you said, like the plan creation from Gentlemates, the fact that they knew that they wanted to use the Sova ult for garage, and yeah, Martine set up for success from Plat. Unbelievable. And I mean, both teams, it feels like they've always got a bye when they're going up against each other.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
I can't remember the last time we had an eco.
I don't know when it would have been, but Gentlemates probably won it, let's be honest. Navi have struggled to make the most of these advantages at times, and well, here it's a quick rotation to A, which is well supported.
That it is, and one which, well, you look at Startso playing in front of that Hunter's Fury, he's one out. So Gentlemates once again get the entry kill and have infested this A site, looking to create a defensive line as the players begin to swing through. It is Navi to win out all the duels and put themselves into a post plan. Can Mini give us something to celebrate? It's a no. And now Bipple's ultimate, ultimate? This is op instead, not his ultimate that he uses. Will be no problem for Navi, double digits.
Yeah, and a single round lead, which they will carry into the final straight of Haven. This was nice, a deep layered execution with the util flying in overhead. No one breaking the dart, so much to deal with in that situation. And the Soveralts from both teams have been pretty good so far, Sociable and Starso finding impact in that regard. This is another purchase for both.
Oh, and unfortunately for Filu, once again, I feel as if that's, what, 3 rounds in a row? Navi have lost the opening pick. Gentlemates being able to down that operator, the attack side op, will be a problem now. Is Navi now forced to just execute?
Martine the one guarding it, first line of contact broken. Still have Mini in this close corner though, and Starso following it up only finds one. Navi a 2-on-2, big duel in garage, and Hero wins it. The 11th is calling their name. Bippo has to pull off a miraculous attempt, or Navi are in the driver's seat at the end of Haven.
Do not doubt him. Blades out. It can be very, very fast and quick. Starts to already go down, and grab well used.
Buys a little bit of time for Navi, but this utility surplus is not infinite. Cage up allows Hero to get close and Shao to play for this double swing, but Bippo cuts them off limb from limb, and with that, Gentlemates do have an equalizer.
Yeah, great mechanical ability, but again, Navi just gived ones to Bippo. All he's doing is holding down. The post plant, question mark. Surely there was enough time to plant else in a better position. I mean, Martine, that was also a hit and a miss.
Yeah. I mean, on paper, it's a great idea, right? You put the cage down, it opens up, and both players double swing. That only works if Bippo is on the spike. It's such an intelligent reposition. As soon as he goes up, he knows exactly what's gonna happen. It won't catch him by surprise. Navi have to recollect their thoughts as it's a fast B-pop they're going for this time.
Very quick, and Molly's being burned through. Spike should be able to, yeah, there it is, start to be attempted. And I mean, you look at the site, the surrounding aspects of it, Gentlemates are ready.
Rolling Thunder sweeping in. Filu finding one and getting out of dodge though. TP's back to the rest of the pack. Navi in a strong position, but no late lurk, no extra win conditions. Garage control yet to be taken by either team as the turret lays vacant. Either side of the smoke, the spike has still not been worked on by Gentlemates, and time is starting to wear thin. That clock's already halfway done. The detonation imminent. Martin finally drawing first blood, and Gentlemate's crashing through, but it's Filu who has it fall on deaf ears. What a reposition around the corner of the smoke. Shao with the double, and that is Na'Vi up to 11 and back in the lead again.
I felt as if Navi had used some of their util far too early, but you could see the desperation start to come through from Gentlemates, burning the Rolling Thunder to get in. And I mean, Martin, again, maybe a little bit delayed in trying to get that smoke down. Overall, Navi find themselves up to 11, and Paco uses his own last time out here as he looks to inform his team of what they can do better moving forward.
It's always in those moments of chaos that a team's foundations are truly tested. And as much as we joked about it, it's at this stage of the season with a brand new face for both rosters, really, that you're going to see who is further ahead in their development and who isn't. Na'Vi have really been taking these reps and making the most of them. I have to say, felt like a lot of situations before when things were getting messy weren't suiting them. But on the defender's side, the onus is really on you to make something happen there, Cairo, like you say. And so Gentlemates with this timeout have got to figure out what it is that they can do that get them in those situations late round, and they do have win conditions.
I think as well, like the other aspect of it is that Navi didn't have like an extensive post plant. They were all on grass, and it's one that Gentlemates couldn't really start to move, which is worrying.
Outlaw in play from Ruxic early. It is the solo Sova play on A this time, so Starso won't play too heavy-handed here.
Right there.
So
Hero
with shots,
had his cam in the 4v1 split, right? So
yeah,
they know about the mid push now, Na'Vi.
and with an exchange of bullets, they know how many. At least there's a minimum of what, two. The way the Guardians were shooting, the timing of it. Seems as if Glyph trying to get close to his teammate of Starzo.
Wants to
maybe
fight this.
Yeah, maybe not needed. The flashing utility good, and with the lockdown even better, but Navi now know that they've got a fight on their hands, one which they maybe need to be careful of with the lockdown. A tap of the spike, Mini looking to see to take a timing, but unfortunately Navi are already away to safety.
And they're actually going to double back in its entirety and head elsewhere in this 4 versus 2. Ruxic is the furthest player forward, but with 25 seconds, looks like it might just be the B plant. Or no, Filu's moving to Garage. It's going to be C. Time is running out. There should be enough here for Na'Vi.
Yeah, I think so. You'd imagine so many being able to take out Ruxic, but it's now a 1 versus 3, which he's good at, but not a lot of utility to support him.
No, just the turret if he can get it up, but even then it's not going to do too much, as you say.
It's not. Tap of the spike, waiting for a jump spot, but it does not come. All players towards his left side. Just misses the chance, but does take out Sociable. Another tap, a good flash, and Navi up to 12. That is map and series point, which Navi are on. They just need one more round.
Really nice flash from Filu there as well. So difficult to turn away from at that kind of range.
Down A.
Harder to judge. Starso does a good job in finding the first kill on site, but then the investment of the lockdown, I don't know. Gentlemates were trying to play for a fast flood, but also with an ultimate that has a much longer expiry date, right? So 2 rounds now, the difference. Gentlemates, this is their last buy and last opportunity.
Last chance to come back in. Bippo's operator will get the first again.
Yeah. It's been an absolute mainstay in terms of finding opening picks, and that's what Gentlemate's game plan almost completely relies on, it feels like. If they don't have man advantage, you're favoring Na'Vi almost every single round. Gives them the option to just move a player over here, and that's what they'll do, op arriving on C, but Martin Might not have that cavalry in time. Looks like he will now.
Yeah, Bimpo does manage to grab Shao, so the trade is there. Players, though, are already through on site, and that's allowed them to set up the post plant. That's the worrying part about Gentlemates, is the retakes have not been convincing once Navi gets set up.
Stun to set up this Sova ult as well. Got to be looking for it here, Starso.
Yeah, Hero tries to stop the players flooding out, but it is overwhelming, in fact. Sociable, good for a frag or two. Millie will get his first here, but that spike is being worked on, and well, he really needed a lot more than that. So we have a one-round shootout to decide whether we have a finish to map 3 or it will be overtime. And has in our first VCT versus VCT matchup, of course we're going the distance.
I mean, great opening kill from Bippo and his support on C. Imperative to mates winning this round. But I got to give credit to Starso as well for holding on to that ult. Genuinely thought it was going to be the classic combo of the Breach Stun and Sova ult there to pick a player off of default. But they preferred to have numbers on the site. And that's exactly what works out for them in the end. Ruxic with ult and a Stinger, that's the only concession. Full purchase for both as we look at this Age-Ul again.
6 ultimates in the server and 3 of them already ripped. And Gentlemates opening up the account of kills by themselves to the good. Glyph holding on to the edge of the smoke. Gentlemates trying to hold on to just the A site in general and so successful in doing so.
Yeah. Navi just wanted to brute force it. And it comes back to that decision from the previous round. Starso has the Sova ult, sends it into A lobby early, allows Bippo to get out in position. That's how they find the opening kill. And the rest is just great work from Gentlemates, really. Navi in another short-handed situation. A 2v2 on B, which is currently not being watched.
Yeah, but the alarm bot is doing the work for the players. And this is where we expect Navi to really not have a chance, right? Because now they're known about. They're trying to maybe test their luck, get a pick or two, but they're giving away their positions in the meantime. And with the announcer telling how much time is left, the spike will be attempted.
Yeah, Filu the one just trying to push the envelope as much as possible and find a kill here. Last round of play, Shao wants to do something with this Astra ult, but it's yet to be revealed right now. Filu moving into backside again.
Players walking out. Filu does get one of his own. And Shao with a couple makes this worrying. Still has the grab well, and well, unfortunately Glyph comes round the corner for a 4K of his own. Seems as if EMA had a shortage of frag in IGL, so that's why MA have imported their own.
Yeah, let's not get too deep into that one. We'll be here all night, but looks like that might just be the case anyway as we get our first overtime of the evening. And it's Gentlemates to have brought us there. Back-to-back rounds for them from sitting down and out against the NAVI team, which responded well themselves in the second half considering how things started. Didn't win the first 5 rounds of play. And now looking at it, Filu's going to go for this glass cannon. I gotta say, I think his op was few and far between on the defense, Cairo, so a huge test for him here.
I mean, with the quality of the anchors that Navi have, you're expecting that it should be near enough impossible to assault into any of these. Perhaps your A site is the easier of that, but that's where both duelists have set up a trap. Ruxic hiding away while Filu plays the contact with the operator.
This was a huge decision to make, because it felt like with the pressure on C, the obvious choice was for Filu to just rotate, but he's set up Ruxic, who could be onto a winner. First shot lands, stun won't pop. And so Starso has a trade. Filu following this is not going to pick up a kill either.
So, with his back to 4-on-4, they look to challenge the site of Hero, where, again, stars are placed, Cypher utilities down, and contact has been taken.
Hero set up here as Mini leads the charge of his reinforcements back into the site. Reveal has caught him. Hero dead in the back of Plat, and Shao can't follow it up immediately. But that one onto Mini is an issue. Glyph halved in health as that shot will land. Starso spammed within an inch of his life. Gentlemate's barely hanging on in this one, but Glyph has to step up. If not, Starso. He's already done his job, and now it is just the pole left in the 1v2.
He's so far away.
He's taking the long wrap around to see, and it doesn't look like Na'Vi have read into this at all. A first dink lands onto Sociable. That brings up the ult, and Filu can't afford to take a single pulse from this Sova ability. He has to respect it the whole way along, and on the half stick, he's going to win the round. It's so cruel on Starso, who played a brilliant 1v3, but in the end, Na'Vi take it home.
You hear it half though, surely you give it another jump spot at the very least. That is a gamble from Starzo, which has allowed Navi advantage in post. A lot of question marks in this one. Look, surely down to the 2v2 brawl, that's fine. Glyph though, looking and on site by himself as Starzo just completely isolates himself.
I mean, both players couldn't even take a hit of damage. They knew that it's a mental game from that point onwards, and Filu has steely nerves and picks up the first round of overtime. Mates grouping up on A lobby similarly to their counterparts on their defender's side. But there is no pressure on C this time, and that's the difference from Na'Vi. They haven't moved a player up in position yet.
Well, with the flank control going, you can see that Na'Vi are a little bit worried about the positioning that Gentlemates have found themselves in. And, well, as they try to re-clear Bippo, he thinks about thinks better of trying to re-peek into this. Na'Vi once again combine their forces and look to hit that C site.
Yeah, both extremities have weakened just a little bit. It's again this Killjoy util that's trying to tie it all together. Hero, the only one disconnected, late through Garage, could be key. Na'Vi still a little slow in their way up. In fact, it is Hero who will strike first. The initial blood of the round with only 25 seconds left to spare. All of Na'Vi are here, and Gentlemates have to hold their ground. Glyph good for 2, but 2 just won't cut it. Mini now in the hot seat as Bippo's trying to chase things up. Mini getting 2, in fact. And it's another 1 versus 1.
At least the spike's able to go down, but you can see Bippo, he's so quick.
Already closing the gap, and Sociable knows it. Playing to the boxes, wrap around logs. Timing is everything here for Sociable, and he will nail the shot that takes Na'Vi home and dry. Into the quarterfinals on Friday they go. Their first VCT opponent eliminated.
Yeah, has that's just great performances all around the block from Na'Vi. But again, mistakes from either side consistent with what we would expect from an off-season team. It's hard not to pick up on it. I mean, there was some really nice shots overall. And the system in place, you can start to see remnants of it, signs that what Angel and how Angel wants his team to perform.
Yeah, you know it's been a long series when I'm reacting to the replay package, man. Like, honestly, both of these teams really made each other sweat, and I think credit where it's due to each of them for responding when it was asked. Especially map 2 for Gentlemates to bring us here, and towards the end of this one to keep it alive. But for the most part, I think you kind of set up that established order that Na'Vi are the more dominant force, the one with the history and the ones with that weight of expectation that comes with it. Yeah. So it's a question of how much stuff can they clean up. A lot of pissed around losses you were talking about. Lots of eco losses as well there as well to Gentlemates. So plenty to improve upon, but you know, already a good start.
Yeah, and the questions really come through is what happens when Na'Vi come up against a higher form. of opponent that they're maybe not expecting, right? Gentlemates are a roster in development, but a team like BBL that's there, a team like Ulf, Vitality, which are maybe a higher form of development since they got things